Hey guys, welcome to Comic Basics. I'm Joel, and today's episode, the top 10 greatest Marvel villains to have hit the pages of comics. But before we get to that, if after watching the video you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button. In the world of Marvel Comics lie some of the most incredible villains ever put to the pages of a comic book. Some possess power that's unrivaled, and others use what's been given to them to ascend to the top of the villain's mountain. No matter where they come from or how they came to be, they all have one thing in common. They make the lives of the heroes who battle them a living nightmare. In order to help you understand how incredible and who each are, I put together a list of the best, or should I say the worst of the worst. I imagine that very few inclusions in this list will shock you, and that's because each character on this list has solidified their right to be here. With that, I give to you the top 10 greatest Marvel villains to have hit the pages of comics. Annihilus was initially thought of as an enemy of the Fantastic Four. Over time, however, this changed and he became an enemy to just about every creature, being an entity, in the Marvel Universe. Annihilus is an insect-type creature who rules the negative zone. If you're wondering how a bug grows to rule an area that includes the like of Blastar and Stigger, you must understand that Annihilus controls the Cosmic Control Rod. With it by his side, he's granted cosmic and matter manipulation, increased power, telekinesis, telepathy, resurrection, and more. Basically, the Cosmic Control Rod is the ultimate sign of power in the negative zone. As such, Annihilus is a threat to all who oppose him. Depending on which version you follow, Ultron was created by either Hank Pym or Tony Stark. I suppose that at the end of the day it really doesn't matter. No matter the version, each is the epitome of evil. Ultron is a robot hell-bent on world domination. He, as you can probably imagine, possesses the intelligence of a supercomputer. This means that he can devise and execute a plan before you even pick up a pencil to write yours down. Aside from his intellect, he's able to fly, can project blasts of energy, and has many superhuman attributes. But that isn't all. He can also use the Encephalo Ray. The Encephalo Ray, for context, allows him to mesmerize and place its victims under mind control. There's a reason that Thanos, more than any other of the greatest Marvel villains, was chosen as the big bad guy for the first 3 phases of the MCU. Thanos is one of the baddest, strongest, and most intelligent beings in all of Marvel. Because he's a descendant of the Eternals, he possesses power that many can only dream of. But that's not what makes him formidable. What makes him formidable is that his conviction to his own cause is unrelenting. Thanks to Tom Hiddleston, Loki now finds himself as one of the greatest Marvel villains in history. Whether or not this is deserving is definitely up for debate. But this isn't a debate video, so Loki is the adopted son of Odin. While Odin and Thor hail from Asgard, Loki hails from Jotunheim. Loki is the son of Odin's sworn enemy, Laufey. Because he's a descendant of a powerful race, he can project energy, manipulate matter, shapeshift, and is proficient in most forms of magic. Loki is Thor's greatest enemy and will remain there for all of eternity. Move over every X-Men enemy not named Magneto. And why? None of the X-Men's enemies have the powers and abilities of the Dark Phoenix. Whether you've read the comic or seen the movies, the story of the Dark Phoenix is fairly well known. While aboard a spacecraft in, well, space, the X-Men find themselves bombarded with radiation. To protect her teammates, Jean Grey sacrifices her life. Shortly after the sacrifice, the thought-dead Jean Grey returns to the X-Men, but returns as the ultra-powerful Phoenix. Confused and unsure of who to trust, Phoenix turns to the Hellfire Club, and they unlock that which was hidden below. With her potential unlocked, Phoenix becomes Dark Phoenix and instantly sends fear throughout the galaxy. Created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and first appearing in Fantastic Four number 48, Galactus is one of the most powerful beings in Marvel Comics. Heck, I'd say he's even one of the most powerful beings in all of comics. Galactus is known as the Devourer of Worlds. You don't get this title by being a pushover. To feed his never-ending hunger, Galactus sends his heralds to planets warning them of their impending doom. Whether or not the inhabitants choose to heed the warning is inconsequential. When Galactus shows up, he drains the life force straight from the planets, leaving it in a state similar to a garbage pile. Red Skull stands for everything that Captain America does not. While Steve Rogers believes in what's right, he believes in an Aryan race, dictatorship, violence to force change, and many other reprehensible acts. In fact, of all Captain America's enemies, none are more important and recognizable as Red Skull. At a young age, Red Skull was taken in by Adolf Hitler and trained to become exactly what he is today: selfish, brutal, and an all-out monster. He was the face of everything that caused the Second World War and does everything to see a third one begins. Rumors have floated the internet for years that Norman Osborn is the next villain of the MCU. Even though he's not one of my favorites, I won't dispute the fact that he's one of Marvel's greatest villains ever. The Green Goblin is the antithesis to Spider-Man. Yes, Spider-Man has more enemies than many can comprehend. Yes, most of them were created over 50 years ago. And yes, most of them are more famous than many of Marvel's heroes. However, none of them, and quote me if you want to, are as important as Green Goblin. As one of the oldest and most famous Marvel enemies of all time, Magneto needs no introduction, but I'm going to give you one anyways. Magneto is a literal magnet and has control over all metals. This doesn't just mean he can bend and move the metals around him. No. This means that in addition to those metals, he can also pull the metals in your bloodstream and use them to destroy you from the inside. What makes Magneto so dangerous is that he has a personal vendetta against all of humanity and believes that mutants are superior to humans. Of all the greatest Marvel villains, none are as deadly as Doctor Doom. Not only is he one of the brightest minds in all of Marvel, but he's also one of the most powerful characters. As the ruler of Latveria, Doctor Doom commands an army that my government would be afraid of. He's proficient in magic of all kinds, is more than capable in most known sciences, understands weaponry, and can build just about anything that the mind can think up. Like Annihilus, he was initially thought of as an enemy of the Fantastic Four. Now, however, this just isn't the case. Doom's war has spilled over to every corner of the Marvel Universe. And I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button. Thanks guys. Look, at the end of the day, I know there's a million YouTube channels out there, and for you to take a few minutes of your precious time to watch one of my videos really does mean the world to me, and I can't thank you enough. I hope you'll come back, and until then, I'll catch you next time.